Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first tipping video of 2022. Yes, I've been slack because I haven't been able to commit to a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night upload ahead of time, and I don't want to make my tips till I see the team. So we are back. I'm going to be doing these every week as long as you guys are showing your support. So let's try and hit 25 likes. Comment your tips in that comment section below, and of course subscribe if you haven't already as we look forward to the 2022 edition of Indigenous Round. We are set for another amazing installment of Indigenous Round, and this Thursday night kicks off with a top three rivalry in the competition between the Melbourne Storm and the Manly Sea Eagles. For Melbourne, Jerome Hughes returns for Manly. George Defua is in on the wing due to their injury crisis. Obviously no Turbo, who's out for the season, and no Marty Tapau. Look, I'll keep it short. I'm tipping Manly because I'm biased. If you don't tip your team, then you are not a true supporter. However, I think that Manly have to play at their best for any chance to beat Melbourne, because I do think that with Jerome Hughes returning, Melbourne can get the job done. They'll be so fired up after losing by such huge margins of back-to-back weeks. So I think Melbourne win this. But I'm tipping Manly, and of course, Manly to win at 13+. Now, the greatest Friday 6 p.m. game of all time between the Penrith Panthers, who sit in first place, and the Cowboys coming off a monster win over the Melbourne Storm. No changes for Penrith. For the Cowboys, Taumalolo and Kyle Felter both out, meaning the Hammer moves on to the wing. An incredible game this will be between two of the most informed teams of the competition. 6 p.m. game. I don't know how the Cowboys are paying $4. However, I still think that the Penrith Panthers are too good. I did say this about Melbourne last week. However, obviously Penrith actually have their halfback. Taumalolo and Felt have both been incredible. The injury curse just starting to hit the Cowboys a little bit. I do think it'll be close. I am tipping Penrith to win 1-12. And then the main game, the Queensland Derby. Well, a Queensland Derby. Some Cowboys fans might get upset over that one. The Broncos taking on the Titans. The big news is no Adam Reynolds once again. Cobbo has been named, who was not because of an injury crisis. Brian Kelly returns for the Gold Coast Titans as Philip Sammy. He looks to be injured. Also, for the Gold Coast Titans is David Fifita, who is on the extended bench. This game will be a lot closer than I think many people will believe it to be, because I do think that the Titans, this is their big game. This is their rivalry game. And the Broncos, well, I still think they want to win this South East Queensland Derby. They've been in good form, Brisbane, and I still think they'll be able to get the win. I think if David Fifita comes in, it does chuck a bigger question mark around this game, but I do think the Broncos get this done just 1-12. Saturday kicks off a pretty important game for both teams. The Warriors and the Newcastle Knights. A win here will see both teams stay in the 8. Fortunately for the Warriors, Adam Fanua-Blake is out for the Knights. Adam Clune and Bradman Best are both out. I think the Warriors win here. I think they win 1-12. It'll be a close game because both teams will see this as a winnable game. But the Newcastle Knights just look so far away from how they started their season. Mid-game Saturday is the Rabbitohs taking on the West Tigers. For the Bunnies, Cameron Murray, he has been named in jersey 24, and the Tigers, well, they're starting to get some troops back, including their 5'8", Luke Brooks, who returns. Tigers got this game a few weeks ago. I think that a few disappointing results have fallen the way of the Rabbitohs in previous weeks, and I feel like they'll be able to get the job done here. They'll want to stay in the 8 because teams like the Manly, who probably won't win, but more so the Raiders, are breathing down their neck for that final spot. So I feel like the Rabbitohs will win here. Only 1-12 though. It looks like it's going to be a good round of football. Final game on the Saturday night. Craig Fitzgibbon returns to take on his old team, the Sydney Roosters. Both teams unchanged from last week pretty much. Tatili Tupanua has been named on the extended bench, and Will Kennedy actually does come in to fullback for Cronulla. This is going to be an awesome game. My match of the round. I think it'll be the closest game of the weekend and the most intense. I know that Panthers Cowboys are high on the table, but I just rate Penrith so highly. This game is much more evenly matched. Sharks, besides Parramatta, who have proven to be inconsistent, are yet to knock off a top dog. They have a chance to do that against the Roosters this week, but I think the Roosters are improving and were actually pretty good last week despite getting absolutely smashed by Penrith in the end. So I'm going to tip the Roosters. I'm going to tip the Roosters in Golden Point because I feel like Luke Keary will be able to be the difference. Sunday kicks off with two teams that both need to win for different reasons. The Bulldogs need to get away from that wooden spoon, which, if they were to get another one, would be so disheartening for their supporters. The Dragons, they're looking for a top 8 spot, and I think they can push into that if both the Raiders and the Rabbitohs lose this weekend. I do think the Dragons win here. I do think the Dragons win 13+. Big game, though. Big game for both teams, but I just think the Bulldogs are in all sorts at the moment. It'll be interesting to see because this is probably the new coach's, Mick Potter's, first real crack with this Bulldogs team. But I do think the Dragons just are way too strong on paper and in form at the moment. Then the final game. What a cracker for Sunday afternoon football. The Raiders taking on the Eels. The Eels have sort of made a reshuffle to their team. Isaiah Papali'i goes to lock. Ryan Madison goes back to the bench. Marate Niokora comes back in. For the Raiders, we finally get to see the debut of Jamal Fogarty. This should be a cracking matchup between two teams desperate to make their push. Eels for the top 4, Raiders for the top 8. The Eels, obviously no Ben Cummins, lol, so they're going to get smashed. But in all seriousness, I do want to tip Parramatta. I'm going to tip them, but with no confidence, because this is definitely the Raiders' best team they've put in all season. Their injury curse is finally settling down. Xavier Savage starts at fullback as Chansey is out with that hamstring injury. But I do think Parramatta just have a bit too strong of a side. They were lucky to get the win last week with some refereeing, so I think that Brad Arthur will not be happy, and I feel like Parramatta will get the job done. They do have a pretty poor record in Canberra, though, and obviously after what the Raiders have shown the past 2 weeks, they'll have plenty of confidence going into this one. But I will tip the Eels by 13+. So, my tips are Manly 13+, obviously. Penrith 1-12, Broncos 1-12, Warriors 1-12, Rabbits 1-12, Roosters 1-12, Dragons 13+, and Parramatta 1-12. Guys, let me know in that comment section, what are your tips for this week's Indigenous round, round 12 of the Premiership? After this weekend, every team will have played half of their 24 games for the season. The ladder is definitely starting to take shape. Smash that like button if you want another tipping video next week. Like I said, comment your tips down below and subscribe if you haven't already.
Yes, Fossey, what is he doing? Jack Wine's made a meal of it. And then we have this play again. Foul, massive space. We suck him in. Dearden's there. Tuolagi can't keep up with him. We're going to have to offer to keep it in. And we do. Another scrum. Another try.